Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alexa, and in today's video, we are going to be going to the Dollar Tree and trying to find some books there to read for the week. I've always seen books at Dollar Tree, but always just assumed that they were bad because they were $1. But I've always been so curious about the books at Dollar Tree. I don't exactly know how books end up at the Dollar Tree, and I don't know if that necessarily means that it is a good or bad book. I would assume that Dollar Tree buys some type of overstock books from somewhere. That is the only logical way that I can see how they would make profit selling books for that cheap, but maybe they don't make a profit, who knows? But I'm about to make a profit because I am about to go and find some cheap books at Dollar Tree, and we're gonna read them for the week and see if they are good or bad, or somewhere in the middle. There are quite a few Dollar Trees in my area, and I haven't been to them in a while, so I have no idea what exactly they're gonna have, but I think I'm gonna try to get 3 books. So we will go and see what we can find, and obviously I will do a haul afterwards. So let's cue the footage of me going to the Dollar Tree. All right, guys, we are back from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to show you guys what I got. Also, was nobody gonna tell me that everything at the Dollar Tree is no longer $1, but $1.25? And they also have other stuff that's like $3, $4, $5. Maybe I just haven't been there in a while, but I do not remember that being a thing. It must be new. But anyways, I know that I said we were gonna get 3 books, but I ended up picking up 5 books because why not? They were all less than the price of one of these books at full price. So I will start it with the book that most people are probably gonna know, and that is Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret by Judy Blume. This is actually like a middle school book, I think, and it is also now a movie, which I have seen. It's less than 200 pages and it is literally written for middle schoolers, so I'm sure this will be an incredibly fast read. Margaret Simon likes long hair, tuna fish, the smell of rain, and things that are pink. She's just moved from New York City to the suburbs and is anxious to fit in with her new friends. They swear they'll tell each other everything: first bras, first kisses, first periods, everything. But some things are just too private to talk about, even with your friends, and especially when you're the new girl. Lucky for Margaret, she's got someone else to confide in, someone who always listens. I remember this movie being super cute, and I'm sure that the book will follow suit. The next book is The Finalists by David Bell. Also, besides Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, I have not looked up any of these books. I have not looked up any ratings, anything like that. So besides that one, we are going into the rest of these completely blind. This says that it is a suspense novel and that the competitive selection process for a prized college scholarship turns deadly in the latest thriller from USA Today best-selling author David Bell. Apparently, he has another USA Today best-selling book called Kill All Your Darlings. I've never heard of it, but the back of this one says, on a beautiful spring day, 6 college students with nothing in common besides a desperate inability to pay for school gather to compete for the prestigious Hyde Scholarship. There's Milo, the frontrunner, Natalia, the brain, James, the rule follower, Sydney, the athlete, Duffy the cowboy, and Emily the social justice warrior. The 6 of them must surrender their devices when they enter Hyde House, an aging structure that sits on a secluded part of campus. Once inside, the doors are locked behind them. The students are not allowed to leave until they spend 8 hours with a college administrator who will do almost anything to keep the school afloat, and Nicholas Hyde, the privileged and notoriously irresponsible heir to the Hyde family fortune. If the students leave before the time is up, they'll be immediately disqualified, but when one of the 6 finalists drops dead, the other students fear they're being picked off one by one. With a violent protest raging outside and no way to escape, the survivors viciously turn on one another. The Finalists is a chilling and profound look at the lengths to which both students and colleges will go to survive in a resource-starved academic world. I'm not gonna lie, I was not really interested in reading this book just based on the cover, but after reading that synopsis, this actually sounds really interesting. So I'm actually kind of excited about this one now. The next book we have is The Chocolate Maker's Wife by Karen Brooks, and I just have to say that this is definitely not a book that I would pick up under pretty much any other circumstance. But what if this ends up being my favorite book ever and it's $1? This synopsis is really long, so I'm gonna try to read it and then summarize it for you guys. So basically what I gathered from the back of this book is we are following our main character, Rosamond, and she is currently in an abusive household. But then comes along Sir Everard, and he sweeps her away from her circumstances and makes her his wife and takes her to his chocolate factory. It says chocolate house. I don't know if it's like a chocolate factory or like a house made of chocolate. But either way, basically she goes to this place that involves chocolate with Sir Everard, and she basically creates a new life for herself. But it turns out that Sir Everard has a lot of secrets that are going to basically plague their marriage, and they could lose everything. So that is pretty much what this sounds like it's about. So yeah, as much as I didn't really want to pick up this book, I grabbed it because I wasn't sure how many other books I was gonna find at the Dollar Tree, and I didn't want to come home too empty-handed, so we did grab this one. We'll see if I end up getting to it. The next book I got is Hana Carries On. I'm not sure if this is a YA book or not, but it basically looks like it is a rom-com about Hannah, who is juggling pursuing her dream job in radio while helping her family compete with the new halal restaurant across the street. And yeah, this one actually sounds pretty interesting as well. I think everything I grabbed sounds pretty interesting except for you know who. The last book I grabbed is A River of Royal Blood by Amanda Joy. 16-year-old Eva is a princess born with the magic of blood and marrow, a dark and terrible magic that hasn't been seen for generations. Its last known practitioner was Queen Hana, who used the power to massacre thousands, including her own sister, thus beginning the rival heir tradition. Living in Hana's long and dark shadow, Eva must now face her older sister Isa on her 17th name day in a battle to the death if she hopes to ascend to the ivory throne, because in the queendom of Myri, only the strongest and most ruthless ruler survives. This one might be YA too, I'm not sure. So all of the books that I got are in pretty much perfect condition, except this one is kind of looking like it is in a pretty rough shape. There's a lot of scratches on it, and it is also kind of damaged on the bottom, but who cares? So that is the Dollar Tree haul, and we are going to be reading a couple of these books this week. So yeah, today is Monday, and I think after I finish up a couple other things, I'm gonna crack one of these open, and I'll be keeping you guys updated throughout the week, sharing my thoughts and opinions on these books. So I will check in with you guys later. All right, I just finished Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, and this is such a sweet book. I didn't really update while I was reading it though, because I finished it in one sitting. It only took like an hour or so to read. In this book, we basically just spend some time inside of Margaret's head, and she has moved to a new city. She's meeting new kids that are her age, and she's also dealing with some familial drama that revolves around religion. She basically just wants to fit in and see everybody get along, so she is on a mission to make all of that happen. It is really fun to just be inside of her brain and see what she's thinking about all of these different situations. And she is a kid, but she's still very introspective and I would say like pretty mature for her age. So yeah, this was honestly really good in my opinion. Also, I know I said most of the books I got were in like perfect condition, but once I got to the end of this book, I noticed that the last page was a little bit torn, but it honestly doesn't really matter because it's literally just the end page that says like, what will you read next from this author? So yeah, I mean, besides that, it was in perfect condition. So I feel like you can't go wrong for $1.25. Our Dollar Tree reads are off to a great start, so I will be back tomorrow to share with you guys the next Dollar Tree book that I start. Hello again. I am about to head to the park so that I can read outside and get some fresh air for a change. The next Dollar Tree book that I decided to pick up is A River of Royal Blood by Amanda Joy. So besides Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, I have been trying not to look up any of these books online because I don't want any preconceived notions about them before reading them. But I was wondering if this was a YA book or not, and I think it is because it is published by Penguin Books, and on the back where it says the publisher name and the website, it says penguinteen.com. So I'm just guessing based off of the information that I have gathered. But yeah, I've been in a real fantasy mood lately, so I'm hoping that this hits the spot. Okay, so I read up to chapter 5, which I think is about 50 pages in. Okay, yeah, chapter 5 literally starts on page 50. So it's actually really good so far, and I will try to explain what's going on to the best of my abilities, but whenever I get into fantasy books, it honestly takes me a while to fully grasp what is going on. Just because you're learning about a whole new world and learning a whole entire magic system, and sometimes also other fantasy elements, and it can be a little bit confusing at first. So far, the information that I have is that we're following our main character, Eva, who is a princess. She hangs out with this guy named Fallon, and there's basically these like underground tunnels that lead from the palace into like the town square type of area. They like to escape the kingdom that they live at and go hang out at the town square. And basically in this world, instead of kings being like the highest royalty, the queens are the highest royalty. And so I'm sure that's gonna have something to do with Eva, and she also has a sister who I believe is named Isadora. They do not seem to have a good relationship, so I'm sure that's gonna come up later as well. Additionally, there are 4 different species in this world. There are humans, fae, chimere. I'm not exactly sure how to say that, but it's Khimaer. And there are also bloodkin, which kind of sound like vampires, but I don't think they're exactly like vampires, but they apparently drink blood. So yeah, that's what I have so far. There's still a lot to learn, and the plot isn't really even unfolding yet. We're basically just world building and getting to know the characters and other parts of this world. But it's really good so far. I find myself getting very engrossed in it when I am reading it. So we're gonna keep reading, and I'll be back when I have another update. Hello, it is Wednesday now, and I did not film anything yesterday or today until right now, but my update is that I finished A River of Royal Blood by Amanda Joy, and this book was actually incredible. I was not expecting to love 2 Dollar Tree books in a row, but here we are. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about it because I was only on page 50 the last time I talked about it, and then I finished it. So I feel like there's a little bit more I want to say about it. First of all, the magic in this book is so unique because there is a part of the book where Eva is learning how to use part of her magic, and with that part of her magic, she has to wear horns in order to be able to access like that part of her magic. They're kind of like ram's horns, I think. At least that's what I feel like was described and what I imagined. And I feel like that's so cool. I've never heard of anything like that in a fantasy book, so I just loved how unique and original that was, at least to me. And the entire plot was so interesting. We had a lot going on. So the previous queen had the same power as Eva, and Eva had this like paralyzing fear of killing her sister, and we didn't really know why she was so concerned about that. I kind of originally assumed that it was because she would like lose control of her power and like accidentally kill her sister or something like that. But it turns out that there's this court that's coming up, which is basically a battle to the death between the sisters in the family who are of age to become a queen. They do this like magic thing where they tether the sisters together so that nobody else can like kill them or interfere. Basically only the people that are tethered together can kill each other. Everything about this book was just genuinely so intriguing to me. I feel like it was done so well. Eva also ends up meeting somebody. I don't know how to say his name. I think it might be like Bacha or Baka. He is this like outcast who has the same type of magic as her. So she's basically like, hey, can you teach me how to use this magic because I'm terrified of it? And he's like, yeah, but you're gonna have to pay a price. During a lot of the training that she does, she meets this prince who is a chimere, and Eva is human, and these 2 species cannot date. So there's that going on. There's honestly just so much drama and so many lies. You feel like you're on a journey with Eva to figure out and make sense of everything that's going on in her life, and basically just how to survive, because there's pretty much only a couple of days to do that. So the stakes are very high. And in my Goodreads review, I said that this book has everything that I like in popular fantasy books like The Cruel Prince and the Powerless books, but it still adds in like so many of its own unique intrigues. So yeah, I think I've ranted long enough about how interesting this book was, and how much I enjoyed it. With all that being said, it's time to start our third book of the video. We have The Finalists, The Chocolate Maker's Wife, and Hana Carries On. I think I kind of already expressed how much I don't want to read this book, so we are more so picking between these two. Since I'm only gonna read one more book in this video and I'll have 2 Dollar Tree books left, let me know if you guys want me to do a part 2 of reading Dollar Tree books, because I mean, I bought the books already. I don't want to like waste having bought them, so I might as well read them for another video. So let me know if you guys want to see that. But yeah, maybe I'll read this one in part 2. I think I'm gonna do what I always do when I can't decide what book to read, and that is read the first page of both books and then decide after that. Guys, I have good news and bad news. The good news is that I finished Hana Carries On. The bad news is that I didn't film any videos of me reading this or updating you guys. But my excuse is that yesterday was Thanksgiving, and so obviously I was spending time with family. I'm sure you guys can understand. So I was kind of reading it throughout the day yesterday, in between meals and stuff. And then I woke up and finished it this morning. So let me give you guys a quick rundown on it. So Hannah's family owns a halal restaurant in Toronto, Canada. She is a Muslim woman and wears a hijab. She also has an internship at a radio station. There are a lot of family member characters as well as some of her friends, but the main other character in this book is her rival. His name is Aiden, and him and his dad are opening up another halal restaurant right by Hannah's family's restaurant, and she starts a podcast in hopes of furthering her radio career, and she also wants to save her family's restaurant. There's a lot going on. So what I did love about this book is the representation. I enjoy reading books with characters who are experiencing something that is not my own reality, and I also like that even though the plot of this book was pretty straightforward, there were a lot of like side things going on that also contributed to the main plot. There was a lot going on, but like in a good way. As for what I didn't really like about this book, I feel like it was very juvenile for it being an adult book. Also on the back, it is marketed as a rom-com, and it wasn't really funny. Like there were no laugh out loud moments or even like chuckle in my head moments. It's not that it wasn't good, it just didn't make me laugh at any point. And also the romance was definitely more on the back burner plot-wise. There were other things going on that seemed to have a much higher priority than the romance, and that's fine. It's just kind of weird in my opinion to call it a rom-com, but then it's not really that romantic and it's not really that funny. I think another thing I didn't really like about this book is that there is a little plot line going on where Hannah is messaging somebody that listens to her podcast. In her podcast, she remains anonymous, and then the person that is commenting on her podcast is also remaining anonymous. And I feel like the whole book, it's supposed to be this like mysterious thing, like, oh, we don't know who this guy is. But when I was reading it, I feel like I knew who it was the entire time. It wasn't very mysterious to me. And it's not even like there weren't multiple people that it could have been. I just feel like it was a little too obvious who it was. So yeah, I didn't really like that. I kind of wish that there is more like mystery for that part of the book. But yeah, I mean, overall, this was a good book and I was entertained by it, and I gave it 3.5 stars. As for my ratings for these two books, I actually gave them both 5 stars, which I am honestly shocked by, but I enjoyed both of these books so much and I really want to read more Judy Blume books. And there is a second book to A River of Royal Blood, so obviously I want to read that book too. So yeah, I would say if you have $1.25 in your pocket, don't walk, but run to your local Dollar Tree, because you may or may not find your next 5-star read at the Dollar Tree for $1.25. I also still have more Dollar Tree books that I didn't get to in this video, so if you guys want to see another video where I read more Dollar Tree books, I can definitely do that for you guys. But for now, that is all for this video. If you guys liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below letting me know anything you want to let me know. Also, feel free to follow me on Instagram and make sure that you are subscribed so that you can see more videos from me in the future. But for now, that is all, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye. I'm trying not. I finished Hana Moves On. Nope, that's not what it's called.